I want to kick it over now.
Okay.
Because there are 3 teams right now deemed on the bubble.
Yes.
In the NFL. I'm looking at NFL.com/standing, so I'm going straight to the source.
Yep.
The Colts, the Dolphins, and the Bengals.
Yep.
In the hunt, if the season ended today, these teams will make the playoffs. The Los Angeles Chargers and then the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Ian says Chargers, Broncos, Ravens, baby, look out. Because one team is coming for you.
Yeah, so I was curious, what are the Bengals' odds of making the playoffs right now?
Per NFL.com, playoff probability says 9%.
9%. So I'm reading a Cincinnati.com article right now that has said 8%. So that's even more optimistic. But this lays out everything that has to happen for Cincinnati.
So get a load of this.
So listen to this. Because it seems pretty doable now that I read over it. So,
all 8% of it.
So, obviously, they still need to win the final 3 games of the year. They've got to win out. Obviously, that kind of goes without saying.
Tell the teams. They got the Browns.
So they've got at home against Cleveland on Sunday, at home against Denver on Saturday, and then December 28th, they're in Pittsburgh.
There you go.
They're in Pittsburgh week 18.
Yeah, January 5th.
Yeah.
All right.
So got to win out, but they also need the Broncos to lose in Denver to the Chiefs in week 18. Could go either way, but that seems doable. It's not a tall ask.
The problem
are we playing Chiefs players?
That's the problem right there. Will the Chiefs be playing their guys?
That plays
Carson
into
Wentz
it.
is the backup, right?
That plays into it. It does, and I guess you could say that Denver is still going to be more in the hunt.
Oh, they will be down to the last possession.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're feeling questionable about that part of it. They also need the Dolphins and the Colts to lose at least one more game.
I think you could book that. That's definitely
Which one you booking?
Now, let me tell you, I can tell you Miami's remaining schedule.
I already know. I know it.
Of course you know, VJ.
I know,
but just in case
it.
Martin doesn't or the listeners, Miami's remaining schedule includes San Francisco at home, at Cleveland, and at the Jets.
Them bum-ass Jets to finish.
They just need to lose one of those.
Which one they losing?
I think they might lose 2, honestly.
What 2?
But they're definitely losing to San Francisco.
San Francisco's beating us tomorrow in Miami.
That's a little
on a late. Okay,
that's a little preview of picks.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll have that in my picks.
Now
Miami's a 1-point underdog, so
that's everything. So if you look, to me that sounds like more than 9%.
The problem is
maybe statistically, but I feel like personally I would say there's more than a 9% chance that they make it in.
What do you think the percentage should be?
If you ask me like what percent chance do I think all that happens, I would say 40%.
40% chance.
Wow.
If it's 40% chance of rain, you bring in an umbrella.
Maybe 35, because the most unlikely thing on there is the Chiefs beating the Broncos in Week 18. That's the most unlikely outcome on there, and the only reason it's the most unlikely is because we think the Chiefs will be, sitting a lot of their starters.
Go ahead.
No, I don't think so though. I don't think the Chiefs are going to sit a lot of their stars. They have a bye. I have a thing about giving players 2 weeks off.
Well, even better then. I mean, then the Chiefs' odds are even better in that case.
And to be honest, Andy Reid historically, I feel like generally lines his guys like they play. They play in the preseason.
Yeah,
they play. They generally play.
The Denver game for Cincinnati and the Pittsburgh game. Those are the 2 games right there. They would have they have to win out. I think they get Cleveland. I think Cleveland give them a little run tomorrow though. I think Cleveland, because they still feel the defense. They still feel the running game. The UCLA kid's going to be quarterback now. My man Crab Legs has been benched. I think it's a different pace. You haven't been practicing for him, right? There could be some wrinkles there. I think Cincinnati will win, but I think that's a tough game. But that Denver team, that defense coming in, and then going to Pittsburgh in a division rivalry game, the last game of the year, I don't know, man. I think this team's defense is just too cooked. I really do. They can score points. Burrow's having an MVP type year. Chase is having an offensive player of the year type year. Their defense is just cooked, though, man. Of course, you got Hendricks, leads the league in sacks.
Well, that's also another part of the question, too, is if Cincinnati were to sneak into the playoffs, I kind of want to know what you guys think about this. Would Burrow have pretty strong case for MVP, right? As good as Josh Allen has played.
Yes.
I mean,
strong case.
Cincinnati,
Well,
they go from a 9% chance of making the playoffs. Burrow wills them in. Come on, guys. Like he's played incredible against top competition.
Here's the thing. As Tennessee intercepts Will Howard on a tip ball in the end zone, we'll see if they can put something together here. But that was what – no, that's an interception, Willie boy. Sorry. Am I off here? Look, tip ball, Jeremiah Smith, no catch.
I think they want Smith to get the touchdown.
That is not a catch. And then my man catches the ball with his foot on the – oh. Wow.
Yeah, he's out of bounds.
His foot was not on the ground as he caught the ball just by an inch. That's brutal.
You know what's even more brutal? Oh, no, that's a catch.
Look at his foot.
Look at the toe. Touching the turf.
It's going to be tough.
Tough in the church.
Tough in the
turf.
Always a game of inches.
Touching the turf.
So, all right, but here's the thing. If Cincinnati somehow finds a way to do all of that magical thing you're talking about, which I think is probably closer to 15% than 40%, but sure, why not? It's Saturday night. Joe Burrow's the MVP of the league then. That's what think about, because there's only the only path for Cincinnati to get this way is for Burrow to even go
just
more
play out of
off
his mind,
than he is off right now. Yeah. Then you have Josh Allen, who, mind you, I know went crazy the last couple weeks, but they finished the year with some very non-marquee games.
And it's always recency bias. Exactly. As strong as we feel right now, we're going to feel differently.
3-week stretch right here. I think Saquon lost it last week. You can thank A.J. Brown for that and Nick Sirianni and all of that scenario. But we'll see what happens because it's going to be fascinating. I'm sorry. I just cannot wait.
I think Saquon's still in the clubhouse. I don't care what Vegas is saying.
I cannot wait for Eagles post game tomorrow. I cannot wait.
And it's a division game. They're on the road to Washington tomorrow. Washington is still just 2 games behind them. They haven't locked it up yet. If the Eagles if the Eagles lose out, Washington wins out, Washington wins the division. So it's not locked up yet.
I'm so excited for Eagles postgame because no matter what, they've now backed themselves into a corner where it's either all right. So I've heard this analogy. I'm going to butcher it roughly, but VJ, you've been in a relationship. I'm in a relationship now.
Yeah.
You know when you're asked to do something and you just don't do it a bunch of times, right? And then one day, or you kind of half do it. Like she's like cleaning the bathroom, you kind of half clean the bathroom, and then one day she really gets on you for it. So you spit shine that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you really go in. Now she goes in there. She's not happy that you cleaned the bathroom so much. She's upset because now you've shown that all these other times where you were BSing, you could have done it right.
You could have done it right.
You could have done it right.
Oh, you're going to be a good parent. You're going to be a good parent. So now that we're in the situation where before it was they need to run the ball. Feed Saquon. He's the MVP. He's the MVP. Now, they came in the postgame. New Jack City sat down and said, isn't this what y'all been asking for? After he threw for, 215 yards or something ridiculous, and A.J. Brown had the number that he did? So now what happens next? What happens at the end of this week if Saquon runs for like 40 and the passing game continues? Congratulations, you cost him the MVP. What happens this week if Saquon runs for 140 and A.J. Brown only catches, he's only 3 catches, 36 yards? What happened to the passing game? You right back to what you used to be? And you know what? I just know they have the perfect guy at the helm to guide them through what could be very turbulent waters. A.J. Brown is going to be a Philly for another year and a half. They're going to move on from him.
But we talk about tomorrow.
I know. Listen,
because you know I'm right. That's why you said that.
No, Saquon going – you are right, but Saquon going off tomorrow. Saquon's going off tomorrow.
The thing is,
they're going to pound the ball in Washington tomorrow.
See what
if Saquon has a bad game, but and it's only due to lack of volume, say they really focus on the passing attack, Saquon's such a great teammate, he doesn't care.
No.
He's not going to make a stink about it post-game, but if you feed Saquon and the receivers have a bad game, you know A.J. Brown's going to have an issue with it.
But you know who's going to get asked about all of it is Nick Sirianni. That's the thing. What's he going to say? Oh, Saquon's a great teammate. It's not like – or they're going to be trying to get up so they can run the ball more. I'm telling you, this is fascinating because what they really could have done, if they came out and ran the exact same game plan against Carolina that they did, who did they beat last week? Help me.
Carolina?
No, the Carolina was 2 weeks ago.
Last week they beat the Giants. Was it the Giants?
Steelers.
They whooped up on Steelers. Oh, Steelers, yeah. They whooped up on the Steelers last week.
If they do the same thing that they did to beat the Steelers, I mean, it's just going to – it's going to be interesting. They say TNT knows drama. No. Philadelphia knows drama.
I think it's one game to quiet because I think that's why Jalen came to the podium the way he did. Honestly, I think it's a game to get AJ quiet. You're gonna go back to what brought you to the dance. That's turning and handing the ball to Barkley. Simple as that. AJ, live with it, bro. Like I can't stand me guys. I can't stand me guys in the most team-oriented sport that's on God's green earth. It drives me insane. But I think the Eagles get back to running the football and pounding the football in the cold. It's cold back east everywhere right now, and it's been snowing up and down the coast in the northeast and the Midwest. It's going to be snow at games tomorrow. It's going to be freezing cold at every game tomorrow. They said the Penn State game today felt like 12 on the field. That's cold. Like that's super, super type of cold.
That's
and
what
I think you get back. Philly gets back to pounding the ball. Saquon's going to take a stranglehold back on the MVP tomorrow. That's my prediction.
Can we have this conversation? Let's just do this now because we'll have this conversation a few times through the next couple weeks in the postseason. How do you define cold? Because I agree with you. 12 degrees
That's cold.
Is bleeping freezing.
That's cold.
And if you've never been in it before, you won't even understand that it's like there's the cold that is so aggressive.
You won't believe it's happening.
Yeah. I think there's a big gap. Like from 15 to 0, it all feels the same. Once you go below 0, that's a whole new level.
Let's stay inside.
Yeah, but from 15 to 0, it's really like 7 feels like 5 and 9.
It's bone-chilling cold.
But we have some of these conversations about like 40 degrees, 30 degrees.
It's not cold.
No, that's not exactly what we're talking about when we talk about the bitter cold weather.
Put a jacket on so you don't catch pneumonia, but don't tell me you're cold.
Fine.
I got a short sleeve t-shirt on. What was it today? 60 something today?
Yeah, but
we're
in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I know. But even when it gets down to like 50s and even when it gets to the 50s here, and I see people with scarves and earmuffs on and holding their coffee with 2 hands. Like, oh, burr. No, it's not. You're not cold. I get asked that a lot. You're not cold. I'm like, no, it's not cold, guys. I know. I've lived in the Northeast for 10 years. I know with 2 degrees. When you get in your car and the temperature gauge, it says 2 with that little circle. That's cold, guys. Like, Martin, I'm with you. I think under 20 is cold. Once it gets under 20, because technically under 32 is freezing. Once you get under that, that's freezing. That's when you get snow and ice and all that other stuff. But you were in Michigan. Like, I don't know. Connecticut's cold, and North New York, Fort Drum up there on Niagara Falls, that's cold. But Detroit, Michigan, where you went to school, bro, that's cold.
It was bitter.
That's
bitter, brutal, cold.
That's like the heat out here. That's like the heat in Palm Springs. I didn't know 120 really existed.
Yes.
Until you get out the car, and it's really like 118, 119, and you're like, holy bleep, get me inside. I can't sit by the pool. It's too hot.